Hey everyone, Michael Firth here, a founding advisory board member and Crown with Neumi. Now, it's my pleasure to be your presenter for the next 45 minutes maximum as we go through probably the most important webinar of your entire Neumi career. So do yourself a favor, make sure you've got a pen and paper, press pause as many times as you like, because you really want to absorb all of this information because it's going to make a massive difference to your future career with Neumi. So as we kick off, often people think at first glance the reason for our rapid success around the world is because we've invented a nutrition delivery method that delivers nutrients to a human cell like no other product on the planet can do. And that is true, but that's not the only reason. The second reason they say is, wow, you look at the price of your products, you're way more economical than every other option in the market. And that's also valid. And finally, they look at our commission and say, wow, you're paying 53%. Most companies are paying only 24 to 39 cents in the dollar. You're doing that without including your promotions and incentive trips. That is huge, and that's another valid reason. But there's one hidden one that you're only going to discover now, and that is success in our industry is really more about duplication. And about 97% of the population out there are not sales types. So we have designed a system that works for absolutely anyone without experience. And that's what we're here about to talk about today. So let's get into it. So get a pen and paper, as I said. You want to make sure you take as many notes as possible on this one. So what are we going to cover today? Well, basically, we're going to cover off the 5 ways that you can profit with Neumi. And that is the most important thing, getting your success roadmap set up. And we'll cover that first. And then we're going to come in secondly and talk about the systems and processes on the back end to make that happen. Okay, so it's split into 2 parts of the presentation. Number 1, let's kick off with the 5 steps to success, a clear roadmap to building a profitable and sustainable business. So the first question I want to ask you if you're watching this presentation for the first time, and if I was in a room full of people, who's in business? Put your hands up. So have a think about that. Are you in business? Well, if you're in business, treat it like a real business. What do I mean? Well, if you bought a McDonald's franchise for $1 to $2 million, or you bought a convenience shop for $400,000, you would make sure that you want to get your return on your investment first and foremost. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. So the cool news is you haven't had to spend a few $1,000,000 on a business. You can earn as much as any of those businesses and more in here if you want to work hard enough, but you don't have to pay the sorts of outlays they do. So let's get into how it works. Step 1, return on your investment. How do you get your money back? Well, you're in business. You want to be profitable, not negative. How to do that? Really simple. Bring in 4 people at or above the same entry level that you did. So with the 25% welcome bonus, your commissions will cover your initial investment. That's it. So how does it work? Well, here's you. Let's say you came in on the minimum entry level. Now, I must add, we're going to base it on $100, which is 2 products, $100 US or 100 PV. You want to know this. The average for most people across the world isn't 100, it's 200. Why? Well, only people coming in on the bare minimum purchase 100. Most people purchase more product. Maybe there's more than one person in a house. Maybe they want to have some stock in the cupboard, some products to give out really quickly. So often people buy bigger packs. For me, for example, when I started, I bought a $1,000 pack, and then I got myself into profit straight away, and I've never paid for product since. I've had the business pay for it automatically. So let's show you how to do that. So you invested $100, let's say, bare minimum, and your $25 enrollment fee times 4. So everyone who's purchased $100 as well, you get 25% commission, and you can see there you got $100. So you spent 100, you got 100 back. You didn't spend 4 million, 2 million, 400,000. All you spent was $100, but you can get your money back by finding 4 people who are purchasing the same as you. That's step 1. Step 2, though, wouldn't it be nice to have your product ongoing permanently for free? Well, that's happened to me. I've only ever paid for my initial pack of products, and I've not paid for one product ever since. The business self-funds it. So let's show you how to do that. So the goal is to cover your monthly product cost. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see it says use neumibusiness.com. That's a website you can go to, and there is a guide. You can download a fast start document there and use that as your guide to build the business. You want to tap into the 7% uni level commission and the $50 power of 3 bonus, and then build a team that generates enough volume so that your $100 qualification is paid for, right? And that ensures your business is always in the black every single month. So how does it work? Well, here's you. And then you're going to go out first, and your first goal, which is the driver of our entire business, all the way to the top of the compensation plan, power of three is the first focus for everyone, which is to find three or more, not just three, bare minimum three or more people who get started. And when they do, on the second month of business for you, when you have three members purchasing $100 in the second month, you'll receive an extra 50 US dollars for the power of three. Now, you're not going to stop there. You'll keep introducing people. So in this example, if you found a fourth, your uni level bonus is now paying $28. Plus, you have the power of three, and you've also duplicated down a few other people as an example. And you can see it's not perfect duplication. The first person has three, the second one has only duplicated two, the next one's only got one. You've got four yourself, you're leading the pack. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the group, as they say. But you can see here, with all the bonuses at $120, if you maintain that every month now, you're not paying for any products. Your business is self-funding. So that's the second goal for absolutely everybody. Number three is a lifestyle change. Now, when we talk about lifestyle changes, how much money people really need? Do they need millions? No, they only need at least $500 or more a month to add to their budget. And it makes a significant difference. And maybe you want to think about that, what that would do for you. So $500 is a benchmark where you can feel a lifestyle shift, whether that's paying bills, extra savings, family experiences. That's where your business is going to start to feel like it's life changing. So imagine what $500 extra on top of your products could do for you. So how does it work? Well, here's how to do it. Remember, power of three drives duplication. So the power of three is three to get $100, three to get $50, six to get $100, and nine people gives you 250. I'm going to show you how this fits into it right now. So level one in this example, as you've progressed further, you'll notice you no longer have three people or four people. Now you have six. The maximum amount of teams you need to build to maximize the compensation plan is six, all the way to crown, for example. Okay. So you can see here in the first level, just on the 7% uni levels in the second month of business, you've got $42 there. And then if you duplicate it down the next rung, you can see here, and this might be your third month in business, for example. You can see here that those people have introduced three each, and that's $84 in commission at 7% across that example. And we duplicated a third generation now, and it's not perfect duplication. You can see some people have three, some have two, some have one. But based on calculating all of those at 7% each in the uni level, you have another $140. Now, here is the most important part. Check this out. You'll see here flashing, we have three people you introduced personally. Well, that gives you what? 50 US dollars on top of your bonuses. You remember that. And then you did introduce a fourth, and that didn't do a lot of difference. Well, when you have at six people, minimum of six that you personally introduced, now you're going to get 100 US dollars on top of your bonus. But then we give you a carrot to jump for, to stretch yourself a little further, which says if you introduce nine people, and you can see we've placed them further down the bottom of the business here, because we have a thing called dynamic placement. Now you're going to earn $250 from the power of three, not just 50, not just 100, but 250. So that's the ultimate goal to shoot for most people. Now you've noticed that we've put those three individuals down further in the bottom of the business. Just a tip, check with your mentor and coach, but we do not encourage you to put multiple people under the same person front line. Because it's a little bit like that. When you're in school, do you remember the farmer would open up a chicken egg and say, if you break the chicken shell up and the chick hasn't hatched itself, it dies because there was no struggle. So we don't want to, it's not a money game. We're not trying to do it all for someone and teach them welfare that you're going to do all the work. Instead, we're going to give someone one person maybe underneath them and drive a taproot down and then inspire everybody to build the other teams in the other legs. Okay, so that's what you would do if you had more than six people. You would get coaching advice to place them further down underneath the existing teams. So here in this example, you've got $250 from the power of three because you're maxed out the 9 or more example. And then you've also adding up all of those uni levels, $42 plus 84 plus 140, that's 266. And if you total them up, now you have 516 US dollars in this example. So that's going to cause a lifestyle change. From then, now we talk about the fun stuff, rank goals. So when we're talking about rank goals, we're looking beyond just lifestyle changes, this could have a significant impact on the rest of your life. And that's certainly done that for me. And I'm a big testament. I'd never, ever, ever achieved crown in network marketing in any other company in the world. This is the first time I've ever done it. In my case, and I'm not making an income claim, that happened in 12 months. So if I can hit crown in 12 months, anyone watching this can as well. So on the left-hand side, you'll see it says each rank represents a new level of influence, impact, and income. Define what rank you want to hit and then use it as your milestone. And ranks create a natural checkpoint for growth and achievement. And then your goals, when they're tied to something like that, they're tangible. Now, I like to use this example. Let's say crown was your ultimate goal. Well, that's like looking at Everest, isn't it? But if you're going to go to Everest, you're first going to go up to the base camp a few times. And so that's what we talk about peak to peak principle. You can see the next peak once you get to the first one. So set goals in stages. Okay. So let's talk about a personal income goal at step 5. So what sort of income do you want? Okay. Maybe write it down. If you had $100,000 per year coming in now, which is around the average income of, say, a diamond, if you have it well structured, what difference would that make for you? Right? Now, you might not think you can reach diamond straight away. Maybe it's a goal in a year from now, but maybe in 6 months from now, you would like to be maybe a 3-star, right? And a 3-star would still be a significant income. So we want you to vision map stages of that as you go, okay? And regularly monitor that, set goals, and work with a mentor. That would be your sponsor. The word sponsor, by the way, the person who brought you in, sponsor means responsible for. So they are there to help you. If they are not experienced, go to their sponsor or their sponsor. Keep going up the line until you get a mentor that has a bigger business than you that help guide you through this process. So, personal income goal. Define your number. Your income goal is personal. It's about your vision for life. For example, sometimes people say financial freedom. I'll say that's great. But what does that mean? Someone in the Philippines, financial freedom could be $50,000 a year for the rest of their lives, a lower income bracket. Someone in, say, the US might need 200,000 for it to be significant because everyone's different. Okay, so whether it's 1,000 a month or 10,000 a month, create a clear target, then work backwards, break it into ranks, bonuses, and team-sized chunks. And when your why is clear, everything becomes achievable. Now let's touch on that for 1 minute. At the end of this presentation, make sure you regroup with the person who brought you on to talk about your why and levels of intensity that you'd like to apply to this. For me, I can tell you that when I had started with Neumi, I'd financially lost everything from a business collapse just before. So my reason why was I had to build this fast, and it wasn't a question of who will I ring, it's like, how am I going to ring them? I'm going to make this happen. Back in the day, in the previous company where I did achieve diamond at one point, my driver was my children. I was in the corporate world. I had a great income, but I found the higher I went up, the less life I had. And it was my daughter that came to me and said, Dad, we don't see you anymore. And that's what made me really push hard in that business. So tap in to your drivers, your reasons why. What do your kids want? What does your spouse want? Do you want to pay off the house? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to be a person of influence? What do you want? Tap into that reason why and attach it to your goals. Right. So now put that together in the path. We talked about return on investment, getting your money back. That is step 1. Easily done. Get 4 people, you're done. Then move on. Step 2, get your product for free ongoing. Why not have this business self-funding like it was for me in the first 30 days? And then step 2, a lifestyle change. What difference would $500 a month make in your household? And then step 4, moving on up, a rank goal. Build a milestone that scales the income. And then step 5, now a personal income goal. Chase your vision, your way, what you want to do. Work with a mentor to help you achieve all of that. That is the 5 steps to success. If you want to take some notes now, press pause. And then we're going to go back and we're going to cover off the systems, which are even more important than just the goals to make you successful. So we're going to talk about now step 2, the second part of the presentation, which is the 1, 2, 3s and ABCs of Neumi. Play this part back as many times as you need for repetition, because repetition is the mother of skill, as they say. So I'm going to kick off with what we call the Neumi duplication quadrant. And this is all about the gear change. So some people think network marketing, home-based business is about sales, and part of that is right. But eventually it's more about building teams, and there is skills and gear changes that if you don't do them, you'll block yourself from getting to the next rank. So let's talk about the first quadrant, learn to do. So you plug into the system of the Neumi 123, the Neumi Academy workshops, the corporate approved training, the Neumi weekly presentations, the upline specific training that you might have within your team supporting you. So plug your umbilical cord into that, listen and learn from other people who've been successful. Then that will get you started. You're a member, maybe you'll get yourself to senior member. But then, and senior member, if you go to the compensation plan deep dive, is about 1,500 turnover. But then do what you learnt. And as you do what you learnt, which is through action, where you really learn, and implementation, choose yourself an active mentor. If your sponsor's not active, get another one further up the line. You can't teach from theory. So make sure the person above you has a bigger business than you. Then learn to create a list and learn Neumi cycles. Neumi cycles are the key to growth in the business. Become a connector where you connect your prospects with your upline on step 2 of the Neumi 123 system. You'll hear about it in a minute. So contact and invite, and that'll get you to 1-star, 2-star, maybe even 3-star. Then there's a gear change, and it's a big one. And if people don't do this, they find themselves hovering around those ranks forever. And it's called learn to teach. So critical now that you are plugged into an active mentor, because you can't hit diamond if you're following someone who's a 1-star. Go get yourself someone who's built a bigger business than you, tap into your upline diamond, follow that mentor. It's continuous ongoing education. You go from rookie to pro to expert to influencer. You do this by ongoing counseling with an upline mentor, and this is where the duplication zone comes in. Learning to teach everything that you did that helped you get to 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star. Now, I want to make it really simple for you. The power of 3 we showed before leads to 1-star when you just duplicate a few ranks down. 1-star is the secret to every single rank. So 1-star is what we call the engine room in Neumi. Okay? And that duplicates to diamond, crown, and presidential. So the next rank, or the next quadrant, I should say, is teach to teach. So you'll get yourself to 3-star and diamonds when you learn to teach, but the next one is teaching to teach. That's when you become the mentor of mentors. This is where the residual life really starts to kick in. So it's really as simple as this: learn, do, teach, repeat. Learn, do, teach, repeat, and rinse and repeat over and over. That's where you become a crown or a presidential and above. So you can see the gear change here in the Neumi duplication quadrant, and this came directly from our early 1-star boot camps that we ran in the business. So first question I have for you about our systems: isn't just sharing the product enough? Can't I just tell people how awesome the products are? Look, if you just want customers and you don't want to build a big business, absolutely you can do that, right? Some people like to poke it with a stick, just talk about the products a bit to people because their goal isn't a lifestyle change. It isn't residual income. They're just wanting their products for free. And if that's all you want to do, yes, just sharing the product is enough. But if you want a bigger income, no, it's not, okay? So the second question: hey, everybody knows me, Michael. I'm great at sales. I can sell anything. Do I really need your systems? Well, it's not enough, to be honest. In fact, that was my curse that I had to learn. Some people have to learn that product won't do it all, and talking just about product won't do it. Other people need to learn that just because you're great at sales, and I was a national sales coach in the mortgage industry, that I didn't realize not everyone had my skills. Remember, 97% of the population are not sales types. This we're about to go through is designed to make sure the 97% can succeed as well. So the last question: is what you're doing so simple a child could do it? Remember this, the 3 Ps. This might be your blind spot: product, personality, process. So like we went through, if I just talk about the product, it's great and the products are fantastic. We have products that do things no one else's products in the world can do. But if that's all I do, I get lots of customers, not a big duplicatable membership. Personality, which is sales skills maybe. People love me. Can I just use that? Well, yeah. Leverage off your own experience, your own personality, your people skills if you're a great salesperson, but always back it up with process. Now, I want to say this is so important on this point. 1 year into Neumi, when we'd created the Neumi 123 ABC system, we were starting to get lots of success. And I saw a guy online that I've followed for decades. He's an icon of this industry. And he said, I have 1 million personal team members. And my eyeballs nearly popped out of my head. I'm like, 1 million personal team members? Can you imagine? But he went on to say, I have not recruited salespeople, and I'm not a great salesperson, but I've got a system so simple that anyone could do it. Now, that took him 20 years to get 1 million personal team members. Neumi's been in business for 5 years, and we had 250,000 of them at 4 years with this system. Can you imagine where you will be when you start day one with a system of duplication that anyone can do compared to that gentleman that probably took a decade to work that out? So let's move into what the system is. Our system is as simple as Neumi 123 and ABC. 123 is the recruitment, ABC is the onboarding. Let me explain. So let's start with the 123. This is an example here of the Fast Start Guide, which you will find at neumibusiness.com. So basically, that's also available in your app. So the person who has invited you can send that to you directly from the Neumi app so that you've got that in your hot little hands and you can use it. And that way you can keep your people on track. So let's talk about the first one. It's connect your prospects. So 1, 2, 3. 1, connect to tools. 2, connect to leaders. 3, connect to products. I'll do that again. 1, connect to tools. 2, connect to leaders. 3, connect to products. Write that down. Ideally in that order. It doesn't have to be, but that's the ideal process in that order. So what is connecting your prospects? Okay. Connect to prospects, connecting to tools. Well, it could be, and it usually will be, the Hydrostat 3-minute video. That is the first exposure tool that virtually 99.9999% of all Neumi members use in every language around the world as a first exposure tool. Why? People's attention span is super short. If you send anything longer than 3 minutes, they won't watch it. So start with a short video. Then there is the Neumi weekly opportunity overview that happens every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, that right around the world you can use. And that's also played back on YouTube and recorded, etc., and Facebook. And we also have the same Neumi opportunity overview that goes for 20 minutes, which is in your app under the Neumi 123 tab. And you can send that out to people so they can watch it, and the app will show you that they will, when they've watched it, so you can track it. You may also have your own team weekly opportunity overview to leverage off using exactly the same slides. And I might point out, don't go out and create a new set of slides, because if you do, you need to run them past compliance before you start presenting, because if there's any income claims in there that you've written yourself, you could get in trouble. And there's testimonials need to be run past corporate too to make sure they're compliant. But if you just take the slides that we've provided for you that everyone duplicates, you're easily done. And you might even have your upline support you if you want to start with a bang and have a live launch event. And I do that a lot of the time with people where I say, hey, do you want to do this fast? Yes, they tap into their reasons why. 7 days from now, I launch them. I say, we'll do an online launch event for you. And they invite as many people as possible. And kaboom, often they've got their power of 3, power of 6, power of 9 done on the first couple of hours in their first meeting. So that's connecting your prospects in 1, 2, 3 Neumi. Then it's connect to leaders, which is step 2. Now, this is the most important step in the whole process, and it's the underrated one that a lot of people don't get. I'll come back to why in a minute. So this would ideally usually be a 3-way phone call, or even better still, a 3-way Zoom introduction. Why? You can eyeball people and ask questions. Now, your upline running those 3-way calls would have done the third-party validation training, and they would be a trained professional in how to handle themselves on step 2, which is connect to leaders. So it could be a key leader Zoom introduction to corporate as well. So for example, for me, I only have Alex Monterosa, the other founding advisory board member, and there's no one else other than corporate. So often I'll bump into a call with Aaron or Ryan if Alex is not available. I might add that if I'm recruiting someone, even though I help start the company, find the investors for the breakthrough and create the tools, I still use Alex, my sponsor, as part of the step 2 on the follow-up. Why? I don't need that, you might say. Because if I didn't do that and you were my prospect, you won't do it either. Remember this, people do what you say. People do what you do, they don't do what you say. So you can tell them to do it, but unless you do it yourself, it's a bit like people driving with their phone in their hand texting, and then they say to their kids, don't text and drive. Be an example, do it. It could be a coffee introduction to an upline face-to-face at step 2. Maybe they watch the video and they catch up for coffee with your upline there. If you have a fast-growing business, you might say, I can't do one-on-one follow-ups at the moment, Michael. That's okay. Some fast-growing teams then have a weekly or a daily Q&A where people log in and hear lots of people talking. Maybe they hop onto the Meet the Founder call that happens once a month with Steve, and they introduce them to our founder. Or and this is the minimum, and I put it under the blue line for a reason, at least, if nothing else, even if you're not following our system properly, at least do this. Add them to the official Facebook group called Neumi New You, and then tag them under something. Now, please note, we're not a spamming company. Don't go adding people without their permission in droves to the Neumi New You group. We ask permission first, okay? Because we have a reputation to protect with Neumi as a professional organization. So you can add no more than 10 people at a time to the group. When you add someone, ring them up or they've watched a video. You're not sending them there until they've watched a video. When you add them to the group, you say, hey, Michael, I just want to add you to the Neumi New You Facebook group. That's the official group for the company. When I send you this link and you get added, you need to type in that I invited you, my name, and you need to click agree to group rules. If you don't do that, they won't let you into the group. And then once they're in the group, you go and find a testimonial, which is hundreds of them in sports and aged people and young people. Find a testimonial that's relevant and then tag them underneath it. It's called add tag message and tell them you've done that. So that's the official Facebook group. I want to say this too. Lots of people out there have created their own Facebook groups. If you are brand new with Neumi and you don't want to lose people down the track, do not add anyone to any other Facebook groups other than your direct upline, because you don't know, in a year from now, somebody might say, I'm done with Neumi, and they leave with a Facebook group with all your prospects in it. It has happened a lot in this industry over decades. So it's a quick, big tip for you now. Only use the Neumi New You official Facebook group or the group of the person who brought you in. And then maybe the other way to get them around a leader is ask them to attend a live event and meet others. And understand, if you're a speaker at the front of the room, you have a neutral role the company's given you, which means you're not there to instruct people on lots of things. You're there to make them feel welcome, answer their questions on behalf of the crowd in the room because you're the speaker, but then refer them back to their team for more information. Okay. Finally, the third step is connect to products. Now, getting them registered as a member is obviously the first option. So you've watched the videos, you've had a three-way Zoom with an upline now, you've had your questions answered, let's get you registered. If you're ready, that's what you do, first and foremost. Or maybe they just want to be a customer, and that's fine. Register them as a customer buying once off at full price, or they become a preferred customer on AutoShip and get wholesale pricing, okay? At least one off as a retail customer trying the product. Now, you may give a sample out, and this is something I want to say that everyone's different. Have I given samples out to people? Absolutely. Do I give a sample out if they don't watch the videos and debrief with Alex, my upline? No. Waste of money. It's like playing Santa Claus. Giving product out for free without doing any research does not generate business. I'm going to save you a lot of stress. Don't do it. But some people will give samples. I know that I talked to my team in some of the poorer countries, and they say, look, we can't afford to do that. Well, we didn't say give a sample. We said, if you wish to, you can. It's up to you. I qualify, as I said, I'll only give a sample if they go through the process and they haven't joined, okay? So perhaps sell them a bottle, not if you're in an NFR market. Now, we're in 74 markets, but some of them are not fully operational. NFR means not for retail. If you were to sell a bottle retail to a non-member in Australia, you can go to jail. Just be aware of it. You can have 1 billion people purchasing on the website, but you can't sell a bottle to a non-member in an NFR market. So be mindful not to do it if it's not a fully operational market. You could loan them a bottle. I said at the start that when I started my business, I bought a big pack of products, about $1,000 worth, and then I've never paid for products since because the business earned profits to pay for it. So out of that $1,000 of product, it wasn't for me to use. I put some in the cupboard so that I could turn around to the brand new member and say, listen, your product's going to arrive in a week. Let's not wait for that. Here's one, take it home with you now, and then just flick it back to me once yours arrive. That's called rotation stock, and that's why a lot of people don't just purchase just 100 PV. You can do that. And then make sure you send them more testimonials or Neumi New You interviews, which are all in the, some of them are in the app and they're in the Neumi New You Facebook group. So there is a superpower with this though. Would you like to know what it is? This is the biggest skill you'll ever learn, and it is the secret to massive duplication. It is BAMFAM. BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. Okay? So doing that is uncomfortable. What do I mean? Everything starts uncomfortable. So If I said to you, hey, look, if I sent you a video that explains a bit about what we're doing, would you watch it? You go, yeah. I go, great. Look, once you've watched the video, you'll probably have some questions. When's a good time to debrief? I was thinking this time or this time. Which one suits you? That's not normal for some people to book an appointment from there, but it's the number one duplication skill if you can learn it, and you can, because everything is difficult at first. Think about the first time you drove a car. I remember driving down the street at 50 k's an hour thinking, oh my God, I'm going so fast. Now you do it, ladies, with your lipstick going on, looking in the rearview mirror, talking to your friends on the phone. Everything's multitasking. So everything you go through 4 stages. Firstly, it's unconscious incompetence. That means you don't know that you don't know. And a lot of people who never go on to book a meeting from a meeting or learn the skills don't even know the reason they're not succeeding is themselves. Unconscious incompetence. Learn. Then you get to the point of conscious incompetence. And conscious incompetence is where you go, oh my God, Michael Firth is right. What's holding you back is I don't know what I'm doing. I need to get a mentor. And then you get to the point of practicing with a mentor and you become good at something. I know what I'm doing, but it might be a little robotic, meaning you're going, hang on, how did I make that phone call again? Hey, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? Hey, if I send you a video now, when will you get a chance? When's a good time to debrief? So it might be more rigid, but if you practice enough, eventually everything becomes unconscious competence, means you don't even think about it. So everything I do in an invitation is natural and conversational because I've done it a lot. So the biggest tip I can give you, and I can tell you this, when we get to the end and talk about the invitation, 95% of Neumi members and home-based business people in all companies never practice. 5% earn the most dollars. Do the maths. It's obvious. Practice and you'll be a bigger income earner than if you don't. Simple as that. It's a profession. Treat it like one. So let's discuss the ABC. We've discussed the Neumi 1, 2, 3, which is the onboarding. Let's discuss, sorry, that's the recruitment. Now let's talk about the onboarding, bringing people on board. So the ABC, instead of connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to product, is now direct. So direct to the app, direct to the bonus, and direct to the community. So let's break it down. So direct your members to the app. Now, downloading the Neumi app, if you haven't done it, do it now. You can send videos. It is amazing. You can practice the Neumi 1, 2, 3 sequence using the app with your help of an upline. And you can practice sending out a video to your upline so you can see how it's tracked. And then work with your new people on their invitation. Some people just get someone to watch the orientation and never regroup. I regroup and make sure they know exactly what they're saying and teach them the right questions to ask, which is the BAM-FAM, book a meeting from a meeting I talked about. Okay. And then we direct our members to the bonus. Now, the power of 3 is the simplicity. I started talking about that. Power of 3 leads to every rank. So earn an extra $50 by enrolling 3 and then duplicate that. Or aim higher at 6 for 100 or 9 for 250. And then explain to everyone the power of 3 duplication is exactly what eventually leads to a 1-star. 3 people or 6 people or 9 people duplicated. Remember what I said, 3 by 3 by 3 is 27, 6 by 6 by 6 is 200 plus. So go wider than just 3, okay? Show everyone that if the bare minimum they want to do is just get their money back or get their products for free, show how enrolling 4 gets their money back. And I want to point this out. Make sure no one gets poor advice of not building 6 wide, because width equals profitability and depth equals security. And 1-star leads to every single rank. Finally, direct to the community. So introduce your people to the community of support. Explain the event schedule and book them into one. What do I mean? Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time is a weekly event called Members Night. That is your umbilical cord you never, never, never miss. Even if you miss it, play it back. Now, if you're in Europe, there's one every now and then, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. So make sure you book into that one as least. So add your new members to the Neumi members group. There are 2 Facebook groups you need to be in. Neumi members, which is member only. You'll need a member number to get into that. And Neumi New You, which is the prospecting group you use to add tag message we talked about before. Make sure as soon as someone has their own testimonial, they submit their testimonial to that group. Okay, when you do, we may contact you and brand it up in our traditional look and feel for professionalism, and you might even end up in the app. So make sure your testimonials are compliant. And if you haven't done this, make sure the person who invited you gives you the compliance guide so that you know that, 1, compliance-wise, you cannot set up a Facebook group starting with the words Neumi in any country of the world, not a group, not a Facebook page, not an Instagram page. not a YouTube channel. The word Neumi cannot be first. It can be second or third, but it can't be the first word. Why? We don't want people confusing your new Facebook page for the actual company. Okay. Similarly, now we're talking about the level of intensity. Now, in terms of intensity, some people will launch their business, like I said before, 7-day lead time, online event, bang, invite, big event, knock off 3, 6, and 9 in one go, maybe, right? Depends how hard you work. Some people, they don't want that level of intensity, so they go to a middle length strength, which is what? Doing cycles. And a Neumi cycle is 10 calls today. You could do that. 10 text messages or 10 calls. Yeah, I could do that. It's a baby step. Could you do it tomorrow? Sure. What about the day after? Oh, okay. 10, 20, 30, then follow up for the rest of the week. That is a Neumi cycle. Then we rinse and repeat. Statistically, I found if you follow the system properly, probably roughly about a 10% conversion rate. So if you did 10, 10, 10 and followed up with an upline, you probably get at least 3 members. You've done your power 3. That's it. That's what we call a Neumi cycle. So Neumi cycles leads to power 3. Power 3 duplicated leads to 1 star. 1 star leads to every single rank. Okay, let's get back into it. So use the tools in the early stages. Don't be a tool. That means you might be a brilliant presenter, but if you start presenting for the first 20 seconds, everyone joining you thinks they have to as well. So sure, it's important to eventually, if you want to, become a presenter, but at the start, you have an app, you have an upline, you have tools, we have weekly calls. Use those, and remember, have fun. So success in Neumi is as simple as Neumi 1, 2, 3 and ABC. You connect your prospects. How? Connect to the tools, connect to the leaders, connect to the products, play it back if you need to. Then you direct your members when you're on board them. You direct. You direct them to the app, you direct them to the bonus, you direct them to the community. That is how you get started. Now, as we wrap up, let's talk about contacting versus inviting. So what is contacting? Now, in my opinion, there are 5 things we do. If you want to boil it down and keep it simple, there's 5 things we do: contacting, inviting, presenting, following up, and coaching. If you're brand new, no offense, you can't coach. Theory doesn't cut it. You can't coach yet. Got to get a rank before you qualify to coach someone on something, right? Follow up. You shouldn't be following up on your own. If you are, you're not following the system because you need an upline at step 2 of the Neumi 1, 2, 3 system, and that's where the credibility comes from, third-party validation. That leaves presenting. I said before, you shouldn't be presenting to your prospects at the start. Somebody else should. And we have systems for that as well. That leaves 2 things: contacting and inviting. So contacting is basically meeting new people without a Neumi agenda. Okay, so being genuinely interested in another human being. For example, I could hop on Facebook now. I've probably got 5,000 friends. I probably haven't spoken to 4,500 of them for a few years. I could hop on there, send a message to someone and go, "Hey, Mary, long time no speak. How have you been? What's new? What's happening in your life? Blah, blah, blah." Keeping an active growing list is important, and you do that by contacting. So you dig the well before you need it. But contacting for a brand new person is not necessarily immediately required, but make sure you have continuing to grow your list at the back of your mind. Let's talk about inviting, though. Inviting is not presenting and not contacting. So what that means is you're inviting someone to look at a Neumi tool or go to a Neumi event. Who would like an objection-free invitation? I'm going to share one with you right now. This is the way I do it. Small talk, can't talk for long, something exciting, quick blurb, if I would you, and when are you free to? Let me go you through what I mean by that. Now look at the screen right now and see as I go through each of these things, okay? So number 1, ring, 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 ring. Let's say it was a phone call. If it was a text, never send one long text saying, "Hi, I've joined a new business. Here's my link. Check it out. I'd like to come." Don't do that. People hate that. It's spamming. It doesn't work. Stop it. Please, you're damaging our brand if you do it. Instead, if you're texting, text the same way a conversation happens. I ask a question, you answer me, you speak, then I speak, then you speak, then I speak, then you speak, then I speak. So if you're going to text invite someone, break it up into the conversation. Don't send one big message with a link. Never do that, right? So if I'm ringing you or texting you, it'll be like this: "Hey, Mary, how you going? How have you been? How's your weekend? What have you been up to? Blah, 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 blah." Preferably no longer than 60 seconds to a couple of minutes. Maybe longer if you haven't spoken for a while, but not 20 minutes, just 5 minutes max. So for most people, 60 seconds to a minute. Then, "Hey, listen, can't talk for long, Mary. I just got to run out the door. I'm going to a meeting, but I just thought I'd ring you because I've got something really exciting to talk to you about." Now, you may not even be aware of this. Liz and I are bringing a brand new nutrition delivery method into the world, and it delivers nutrients to a human cell in 70 seconds. It has never been done before. And as you know, I've been involved in nutrition now for 20 years, and the results that I'm seeing in people's health and wellness, the outcomes and the testimonials are like nothing I've ever seen. The delivery method is so powerful. It is just phenomenal. But anyway, the reason I was ringing is not to explain it all. There's a great video that goes for 3 minutes that explains a little bit about what we do. I just wanted to ask, if I sent you the video through, would you watch it? And then shut up. Yeah, how does it work? What is it? Well, that's what the video is for. If I sent the video through to you, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch it, and when are you free to debrief? Because I'll guarantee you'll have some questions. They might say, oh, it only goes for 3 minutes. I'll watch it now. Awesome. I'll call you straight back. Now, that's step one. And where it goes to from here in the Neumi 1, 2, 3 system is the first video everyone uses is that 3-minute video. The second step for most people is we send the opportunity overview next. Now, in my case, I would ring you back and go, wow, pretty cool, hey, once you watch the 3-minute video, and you probably go, yeah, but how does it work? What is it? And, I don't understand. Tell me more. I don't care what they say. Anything that go away, then other than go away, Michael, I'm not interested, would be, listen, that video was just designed like a thermometer to see if there's any interest. Sounds like there is. There's another cool video that explains everything. It goes for 20 minutes. If I sent you that one, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch that one? They might ask more questions like, what is it? I'm like, that's great. I'll just explain a bit more. As I mentioned, we've invented a brand new nutrition delivery method that delivers nutrients to a human cell in 70 seconds. What happens is you take off the cap, you put it in your mouth, you swish it like a mouthwash, and no kidding, seconds later, there are trillions of particles in your bloodstream. It's amazing. Anyway, the video explains everything, and it goes for 20 minutes. If I sent that to you, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch it, and when would be a good time to debrief? I'm thinking, look at my diary, Friday morning or Saturday morning. Which one suits you best? Now, I'm booking a meeting from a meeting. That's the idea. So if you send a link and you don't book the meeting from a meeting, you will be the person you don't want to be. You'll be ringing and going, did you watch it yet? No. Did you watch it yet? No. Did you watch it yet? No. So book a meeting from a meeting will stop you from being unprofessional, okay? And then when I've booked that meeting, I would have already checked with Alex, who's my support team, when he's available. And I purposely said this time or this time, which suits you best, because I already looked at his calendar and I know when he's available. So I make sure that then, maybe 24 hours out or a couple of hours out before the next follow-up, I say, hey, looking forward to seeing you on Zoom, as we said, at 10 o'clock, Friday morning. By the way, going to introduce you to a great buddy of mine, Alex, who's had an amazing result on the product. Anyway, I'll see you then. So that's roughly how I would handle the booking of a meeting from a meeting. And I hope that's helpful. Now, BAM FAM is the critical point. Learn that skill. It's something that sometimes people take a while to learn. Once you do, things will hum. Don't be scared of the what is it question. Be prepared. If there's a big tip I can give you, as I said, 95% of Neumi members never stop long enough to write out their version of their approach or invitation. I don't believe in scripts. If I gave you my words, or you took what I just said, my words, and tried to do that, it won't sound like you. So write something down that is you. We do not want to create parrots. We want you to say whatever resonates with you from the heart. I've got a real Ocker Aussie friend, and he says, if I ring someone up as a mate, I'd be going, g'day, knackers. What are you doing Saturday? Nothing. Great. Hey, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? Yeah, what's it about? About that it sounds like a con. Just watch it, you idiot. Right? All right. Be yourself. So have confidence, be yourself, but you do need to practice the 3 questions. There are 3 questions that we will teach you that is written in your training. Number 1, if I would you. If I sent you a video, would you watch it? So write this down. If I would you. If I sent you a video, would you watch it? So it's a permission question. It's not the same as saying, I'm going to send you a video. Second question. Once you've watched it, you'll have some questions. When, most powerful question, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? And when's a good time to debrief? I was thinking this time or this time, which one suits you? So that's the second question. A third question you'll use sometimes, not all the time, is when you're inviting to an event. So my phone call, if I had a launch event, would be different. I would have said, hey, Mary, how you going? What have you been up to? Listen, what are you doing Thursday night, 7 o'clock? Before I said anything, because I'm clearing the night. And then I'd go into the same information and said, if I sent you a video, would you watch it, or will you lock into the event? So I want you to reach back up to your sponsor now after this and ask them to help you to formulate your version of your approach, and then practice it, because 5% of the people in Neumi practice it. 5% of people earn the most money. It's obvious. Just make sure you practice, okay? So That is the Neumi 1, 2, 3 and ABCs. And practice, practice, practice is the key. I want to thank you for taking the time to be on this presentation. I want to also welcome you to the Neumi family and encourage you to play this back as many times as you need to and make sure that every single member in your team gets this Neumi training, orientation, the compliance document, the fast start guide when they get started, and that'll give them the biggest chance of success. And I look forward to seeing all of you at Diamond, Crown, and beyond.